Hello everyone, I welcome you all to ATM Creations and I welcome you all to the Zero to Hero series of embroidery videos too. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how to fix the fabric in the hoop and also look at 5 different stitches that are categorized as outline stitches. As I told you already, an embroidery hoop will have 2 wooden circles, inner circle and the outer circle. So we need to place the fabric on the inner circle. Before placing the fabric itself, I drew the outline of the inner circle here so that I can place the fabric appropriately on the circle. Once you place the fabric, bring the outer circle, place it here. So make sure the circles are placed correctly and then slightly stretch your fabric so that there is no wrinkles here. After you place the fabric and fix the outer circle, the next step is to tighten up the screw here. Just give a little press from both the sides and then you will see a gap here. Give a press and then screw it up. So that's how you tighten the screw here. And in the previous video, I forgot to show this material as a part of materials required for embroidery. This is a thread cutter, this is a normal scissor because you need to cut the threads based on the length that you need. So you definitely need either one of these two. Let us look at the running stitch first, and I'm going to use this violet thread and my long needle. I assume all of you know how to thread this needle. So what I'll do is after cutting the thread, I'll just give a press so that it becomes slightly flat and then I'll put it into the hole. There should be a knot at the other end of the thread and this is what I do. I'll just roll it twice and then roll it like this, pull it back. See, there is a knot that is formed. After putting this knot, your needle and the thread is good to go for any kind of a stitch. So why is it called as an outline stitch? These kind of stitches are used as an outline for any design that we may do in embroidery later. Let me explain running stitch now. From one end of the line, bring the needle out of the fabric. And then at a particular length, the length must be equal. Put the needle inside, pull it down. One stitch is formed. Now for the next stitch, leave the same amount of gap. Bring the needle out and then put it back in. You just have to keep repeating the steps. Now the length of the stitch and the gap must be as equal as possible so that at the end your stitch will look really good. So if right at the beginning you are not sure about having an equal length of a gap and equal length of each stitch, what I would suggest is you can mark the length like this. This is only for practice purpose, no? So you can mark something like this. You just have to be slow, very slow at the beginning if you are just starting off with the embroidery. Now I need to bring the needle out at this point. I'm going to do that now. And then put the needle back in this point. So until you get comfortable with the length of the stitch and the length of the gap to be equal, probably you can mark the points like this and practice the running stitch. I'll do a few stitches for your reference again. I'm going to be very slow in teaching these stitches, intentionally slow, because I want people to understand the stitches and pursue embroidery. The most common mistake I see anybody doing in learning embroidery is hurrying up and then not feeling satisfied later. So I would suggest be as slow as possible so that you will do slightly better right from the beginning. I wouldn't call it as a perfect stitch. According to me, perfection doesn't exist. You can definitely improve. Now when you have to finish the stitch, I'm going to show you the back side of the hoop to tell you how to finish the stitch. Now I'm done with it. I don't want to proceed with running stitch for the subsequent line. I want to finish the stitch, so let me tell you how. See, there are multiple methods to put a knot here. I'm going to tell you the method which I personally follow. If you know any other method of finishing it, go ahead and do it. So what I'm going to do is take this thread, needle must be below the thread, rotate it twice, bring the needle out, pull the thread here so that you are getting this part of the thread closer to the knot. Keep the tip of your finger, pull the thread. The knot is formed. Now you need to cut your thread here. So take your thread cutter, leave a little space like this and then just cut. Now I'll show you again how to put the knot at the end of the thread. Just pull. The knot is formed. I've made one line of running stitch now. I'm going to explain what is whipped running stitch. I have taken a thread of alternate color, preferably a color that contrasts with whatever color you have already used. To start whipping, I'm going to bring the needle out in this position. When you are pulling the thread, do it slowly. If you pull it fast, then the chances are really high that there will be some knot formed at the back, and that will create a lot of problems. Now for the whipping process, the sharp end of the needle, you put it in between the fabric and the stitch. Top and then pull it down to the bottom slowly. Again from the top and pull it from the bottom. Now when you do this kind of whipping, the gap between the stitch is covered with this whipping stitch. So I'll do it again. Put it on the top, pull it from the bottom. Now to finish the stitch, I'm going to put the needle into the fabric in this position. And when you're pulling the thread at the back side of the fabric, pull it gently, not too hard. If you look at this whipped running stitch, you poke the fabric, you made a hole in the fabric only in two places, at the beginning and at the end. So the back side of the whipped running stitch should look like this. Now as a third stitch in this video, we will learn what is double running stitch. I've already made a line of running stitch here. Now I'll tell you what is double running stitch. I have threaded the needle with an alternate color and there is a knot at the end as well. Now this time when I do running stitch, I'll do the stitch only in the gap that is formed in the previous one. So I have to bring the needle out here as close as possible and then put the needle inside here. See, that gap is covered. So that is how you need to do double running stitch. You do the running stitch again only in the gap created in the previous running stitch. I repeat, while pulling the thread either at the top or at the back, you need to be very slow. I'm intentionally very slow in doing the stitch because I want you to understand where exactly I'm bringing the needle out at the top and where exactly I'm putting it back to the back of the hoop. You pull the thread in the direction of the stitch so that it looks really neat. After finishing this double running stitch, the back side of the hoop will look like this. The next stitch that we would learn, that is the fourth stitch in this video, is back stitch. The start of the stitch will be exactly similar to a running stitch. Bring the needle out and put the needle back. And now with the gap, bring the needle out again. But this is back stitch, no? So you will put it back here. You won't go forward, but you will go backward. So now the same step will be repeated. Leave a gap. Bring the needle out. Put the needle back. Now, unlike the running stitch, there won't be any gap at all. So right at the beginning, if you want to practice this back stitch, you can draw some points and then based on that point, you can bring the needle out and then put the needle back. You can do all of that. When you put the needle back, it should be as close as possible to the previous stitch so that there is no gap seen at all. So at the beginning, if this is the first time that you are using thread and needle, you need to be very, very slow so that you get the stitch right. So this is how you proceed with the back stitch. The back side of the back stitch, this is how it is going to look like. I've threaded the needle with an alternate color, basically a contrasting color, red color thread this is. I'll bring the needle out just before the start of the first stitch here. Pull the thread gently, slowly. The fifth stitch that we are going to learn is threaded back stitch. Now bring the needle from the top in the first stitch. So whenever you have to pull the thread, please pull it slowly and gently. Now towards the end, you be very gentle, you don't pull it so hard. A slight curve must be there. And now in the second stitch, bottom up. Now in the third stitch, top down. So bottom up and top down will be done alternatively. That is threaded back stitch. Now bottom up. To avoid any chaos, just keep the strands separately. Now top down again. Bottom up now. So do this top down and bottom up alternatively. There are different types of threaded back stitch. This is just one type of it. We'll see the other types of threaded back stitch in the subsequent videos. Now to finish the stitch, I'm putting the needle into the fabric as close as possible next to the last stitch here. Pull the needle gently, slowly and fully. Now put the knot at the back of the hoop and finish the stitch. So after threaded back stitch is done, this is how the back side of the hoop will look like. I'm going to be facilitating a Telegram group with only embroidery artists. If you want to be part of that embroidery artist community, you need to do two things. One, comment in this video with your feedback about whatever the stitches that I taught you. And number two, send me a message in WhatsApp, maybe a hi, with a screenshot of your comment. I did my best to explain these 5 stitches as much clearly as possible. Now, if you have to understand these stitches more, you just have to practice not just one line. For each stitch, practice 5 lines and each line must be of 15 centimeters long. Thank you all of you for watching this video.